Hey guys, welcome back to AmSamFam. I am so glad you guys decided to come along with us again today. Now I have a special treat for you. Ever since we bought our boat just over a year ago and then moved on to the boat about 9 months ago, we've had so many people asking us for a full walkthrough tour. Well, today is your lucky day because I am going to show you our boat from top to bottom, from front to back, and everything in between. And it's a little bit windy out here today, but I've been waiting for days for the weather to cooperate and it just hasn't been. So we're going to go for it today. Now this video is going to be a lot different from any of the other videos we've put out before. And that is because we've just never done like a tour of our house before. It feels a little awkward. So you guys let us know if you like this video and you want to see more things like this, or if you're like, no, get us back to the adventures and island life and everything to do with American Samoa. And with that all said, let's begin our tour. We're going to begin our tour up on decks because just like if you were going to come and I was going to give you a tour in person, we would have to climb up, we'd have to start on the decks first. So I'm going to turn this around. And here we go, walking up towards the bow or the front of the boat. Coming over and down the mainmast. And we've got a sail cover on our sail right now while we're just in harbor to help keep the sail protected and just help it last a little longer. Going to back up a little bit so you can see this is our forward hatch and it leads down into the boys' room. And I don't know if you can see, but there are a lot of areas on this boat that are weather worn and they need a little extra care. And so little by little I've been making little projects of the boat. You can see here I've been sanding it down. I need to finish the job. Just taking all of the old finish and varnish off and redoing it, and this is what it will look like. I've already done the base here and I'm working my way up along the hatch door, and so soon hopefully it's all going to be nice and shiny and pretty again. So moving up, we're looking at the cockpit, and this is another hatch. This one I have been able to refinish and get all nice and pretty looking. Now when we bought the boat, we don't have any certified boat inspectors here in American Samoa, but a friend of ours who has been sailing for decades and decades and is very knowledgeable came and took a look, and looking at everything from the stays and the shrouds and the condition of the sails and the condition of the decks, and he was able to give us a really good idea of what kind of condition our boat was in, and he had really great things to say about it. So everything's in really good working condition, just some of the things don't look as nice, and those are the projects that I've been working on. And if you can see here, we've got these little steps leading up to this upper deck. Now I just found out recently that this upper deck is called a poop deck. I know, I don't know who came up with the name or why. Coming on back, we've got another hatch here, which is over Nate and my bed, and then our great big solar panel. But yeah, we've got this old railing, really super old-fashioned railing here, and again, it's another part that just looks really weathered, and one of these days hopefully I'll be able to do some work and get it looking nice and pretty again. Coming back around, we've got our mizzen mast or the back mast, and it's got this little boom, which again also you can see it's had quite a bit of weather damage. We need to one of these days soon take this down and refinish it. But as of right now, we really don't use this second mast. And so Nate rigged it up so it's out of the way so we can have a little bit more free space to be able to move around and have some space up on deck. We've got a couple more solar panels here, and over our cockpit, we've got some of the rigging and the ropes. All right, and now this is our cockpit. We've got our helm here, which is a super cool, like nice stainless steel helm, and this old compass that doesn't work anymore, and this cover on it is on there so tight and it doesn't work anyway, so we're going to leave that on there. But one thing I love is this stand here, and it's brass, and you can tell just how old it is by this, I believe it's called patina, like this bluish greenish shade that has developed over time, and I don't know, there's something really beautiful in that. Now we've got a couple of winches on both sides of the cockpit so that we could run some lines here, and one on this side with our hose on it right now. But looking down the other side, you can see we've got, okay, so we've got Hadley's got her surfboard here, but we've got another one of the smaller booms. I don't think it's called a boom, but I can't remember what it's called. Somebody help me out here and let me know what the real name of that is. We've got some extra gas cans, diesel cans, water cans, and some extra buoys. And now let's see the rest of our cockpit. Our cockpit is almost always in some degree of a mess, but this is where we've got our drinking water and our propane for cooking. We've got, okay, so there's our hammock right now. We've got an electric scooter that sometimes works. And then we've got a radio and our horn button. And then when we are out sailing, we hook up our GPS right here. And I keep everything here for my varnishing projects, because I'm pretty much always in a constant state of projects around this boat. Whenever I've got an hour or two of extra time, then I can do a quick light sanding on one of the spots I'm working on, mix up some varnish and do a coat or two, and keep the project moving forward. Now, if you remember from our past videos, especially when we were looking at buying a boat, you will remember that there's a lot about sailing that we are still learning. And so I'm sure that somebody much more knowledgeable could give you a much more in-depth tour of and explanation of all the rigging and the sails and the masts and all the sailing part of our boat. But that's about all I've got for you up on deck. So let's go ahead and head down below. All right, we are down in the salon area. First, we'll start over here looking to the right or to the starboard. And we've got our nice table. It's actually a pretty good sized table. If you've seen some of our other videos we've made since we've been on the boat, you might have seen us all sitting around this one table with this L-shaped settee around the outside. And this table actually drops down and it can turn into a bed too. We've never actually tried it, but we've been told that it works, so we trust them. And then behind the settee we have just kind of a miscellaneous area where we've got some electronics. We've got some kind of pantry area here where we keep some of our food stuff and books and art supplies and even more electronic stuff up there. But one of the really cool things about our boat is all the little cubby holes that you find all over the place. And so back here we keep a lot of our food. And so because we don't have a lot of kitchen space, we use whatever space we can get to store what needs to be stored. Now, if you notice, our cushions have absolutely seen better days, and they're not super comfortable anymore, but they're still kind of working, and they're on our list, and we'll get around to replacing them one of these days, hopefully soon, but just hasn't happened yet. And you see our beautiful artwork here. This is the one picture that made the cut of moving from land to our boat. We just love it. We won it in a raffle a couple years ago, and we just kind of find it in our hearts to part with it, so we brought it along. And then up here we've got some portholes that open up and give us lots of breeze. And then this little shelf, we've got games, card games, just a couple. And then we've got our projector right there. We don't have room for a TV, and we really don't have electricity to run a whole TV. But we've got this awesome little projector, and just like a piece of white fabric here that we hang up on the opposite side, and it works so well that we don't hardly even miss having a TV. Okay, we're going to look over to the port side, over to our left, and we've got our galley. Now, if you guys have, again, been watching our videos that have been talking about our boat, we've discussed our galley a few times because we have made some big changes here. This is probably the one place on our boat where it has changed the most since we moved on to the boat. Before we moved on, all of this space right back here was kind of divided into different little cubbies and compartments, and it was super dark, and the little spaces were really tight, and it just felt, yeah, dark and dirty. And then we had a wood burning stove right here, which here in American Samoa we have no need for the heat coming from the wood stove. And we also have a different like stove and oven here, and so we decided to get rid of that to open it up. We don't have a lot of dishes. We got rid of most of that before we moved on to the boat, but we've got our dishes back here, bowls, plates, cups, all of that. And then down here we've got some more kind of pantry area that we keep all that kind of stuff. We've got this awesome gimbaled range, so we've got the stove up here, and if you notice, if you haven't spent a lot of time on boats, boats move. And so we've got these holders on here that hold our pans and our pots in place while we're cooking so that they don't move around also. And then we've got a nice little teeny tiny oven. But actually it works mostly really well. It doesn't go super high heat. I tried making some naan, like some Indian bread the other night, and it didn't work as well as I wanted it to. But for everything else, it's worked so well. I've baked bread in here, and some cakes and pies, and you know, just casseroles or roasted stuff, and everything else has worked really, really well. And the really awesome thing about it is it's got this little switch here that you can unlatch it, and look at that, it rocks back and forth. So you imagine if we're out sailing and the boat's moving all crazy like this, and we're trying to cook something, we want, you know, some boiling water or whatever to stay level. And if the boat's moving, this will move along with the motion of the boat. In theory, it'll keep our boiling water steady so it doesn't spill all over us. So that is like one of my favorite parts. Okay, we've got our spice rack up here, and this was on the boat, but it had gotten a lot of water damage from this hole up here, and so I stripped it and refinished it, and it's kind of one of my little first projects that I did on the boat, and I'm super proud of it. So all right, we've got a double sink, which is also not the prettiest thing in the world. It could use a refinishing too, but that's the story with a lot of things on the boat. And so it works great though. So we've got my Instapot. I couldn't get rid of that, but to run it we have to get the generator going, so we plan ahead when we're going to use that. All right, you can see our nice clean dishes. And then our fridge. This is one of our favorite things on our boat. We looked long and hard to find a fridge that would be big enough to hold, you know, everything we need. but not use so much electricity that it would kill us. And so we found this fridge actually at Costuless, and you see it's actually got quite a bit of space for a little fridge. Plenty of room on the door. We've got a produce drawer at the bottom, some shelves here. We've got a little cheese and meat drawer and a little tiny freezer, but it works so well and we couldn't be happier with it. Okay, moving back, we've got a little quarter berth here. So a berth is kind of what they call like a bed or a bedroom on a boat. And so this is Hadley's room. There we go. You can see a little better here. This is Hadley's room, and it's actually like you see, 2 pillows. Like, it's a good size mattress. It's a good size bed for her. There's really not much of any more room in here than just the bed, but she's got this little desk that folds down that she can do her schoolwork on, and she's got plenty of storage space. You see her Harry Potter books collection back there. Okay, so we are going to flip around and head towards the bow of the boat, towards the front. Here's our nav desk. And again, before we bought the boat, because it was sitting for so long, it got a lot of water damage. And so on the nav desk, it's got this beautiful inlaid work, but it got so much water damage that only like half of it is still really beautiful. And then the other half, I would love to get it refinished at some point, but we'll see about that. It opens up, and underneath it's a mess down here, but we've got part supplies and extra cords for our electronics, and we've got all kinds of electronics down here, radios and stuff. But this is a great little area for the kids to do schoolwork or whatever needs to be done. Okay, we're going to flip around again back to starboard, and we've got our main head. And so as we walk into here, it's pretty small in here, but it does the job. So we've got a little sink. This is one of the smallest sinks I've ever used. It's really pretty small, but again, it does the job. It works. It's not pretty, but it gives us water, which is what we need. So all right, I'm going to flip around. Whoop. Hi. So here is our shower. We've got our little shower head here, and if you can see, follow this hose down, and to take a shower, we take this hose off and plug it into our sink faucet. Okay, I'm going to do this really carefully so I don't get wet. Then I'm going to turn this on, and it comes out through the shower head. And so we've got these shower curtains that come around. You can see it goes all the way up around the ceiling so that it doesn't get everything else wet when you're showering. So may I point out that you see yourself when you're showering, which sometimes feels a little awkward. But it is what it is. We're all used to it now. Okay, so we've got quite a bit of storage space in here. We don't have a lot of stuff, and so we still have cubbies that don't have anything in them. But here is our marine head, and so I'm not even going to open that. It's got a whole system here, and I'm not even going to get into all that. All right, we're done. That's enough. You understand how a toilet works. Okay, so we're back out. We're going to keep going, but first I want to show you this awesome door that leads to our V-Berth. And look at that beautiful stained glass little window in the door. That is one of my favorite parts, like little pieces of our boat. I just think it's so beautiful. And but we're going to keep on moving. So we're going to latch that open so it doesn't close on me. And then we're coming to our V-Berth. This is basically the very front of our boat. Through that little door you see there is our chain locker, and it is packed full of chains and ropes and some extra buoys and whatever we need that way. But this is where our boys sleep. So we've got Kip's bed over here and Holden's bed over here. They've each got a little bookshelf on their sides, and they've got some other shelves. Holden's got an ukulele back there and some toys. We've got their clothes, bike helmet, hat, backpacks, all this kind of stuff. Kip has his toys over here as well, and beautiful decorated area with stickers. And then they've got a bunch of space, a bunch more space for their toys and whatever else. They've got a hanging locker here for their hanging clothes. When we first bought the boat, there were so many sails, and they were taking up so much space. We didn't know how we were going to store them or what we were ever going to do with that many, but we pared it down to what we thought was a reasonable amount, and we were able to fit them all in this one cupboard, and it was such a great happy day when we did. So that's the front of the boat. We are going to head back towards the stern or the back of the boat. So we're coming back through. Here's our companionway that I came down through. And here's our fun little bell. Woo. It's loud. All right, we're going to head through here now. This is our workbench that we do projects on. We've got our electrical panel and our water gauge there, flip around, and we've got our other panels for our solar power and our wind power, and that's all the stuff that Nate does, so he can explain it one of these days. We're gonna come through here, and this is our stateroom. So stateroom is just kind of like the main, I guess, bedroom on a boat. And so this is Nate and my room. There's not much to it. It's pretty simple. Here's our bed. And here's a desk, which is really awesome. It can actually unhook here and drop down and be pushed out of the way. But this is where Nate does all of his work with this nice bench. And just like the settee out in the salon, we also have these great little cubby holes back here too. And you can see we don't have cute sailing pillowcases like our kids. My awesome mom and sister made those for the kids, and I'm hoping maybe we'll get some this next year for Christmas. But over here, this is another really fun little feature on our boat that I wanted to show you. I'm gonna close this window. I don't know if you can see, but there is this little wood carving. We've got like a castle, some mushrooms, and a great big tree. And I hope to hear the story behind it someday. I haven't ever heard like why it's here. Is there some fun special meaning behind it or what? But I haven't ever heard it, but there's got to be some kind of story behind it someday, and I hope to hear it. But that is one of my favorite little parts of our boat. Nate put in these awesome fans that feel so great at night while we're sleeping. And then we've got another hatch up above us, and then climbing down off the bed. It's a pretty good climb to get on and off our bed. We've got a little hanging locker here with our hanging clothes and a little bit of more storage space in the back. We've got some more drawers underneath our bed. And then last little bit, right through here we have kind of our ensuite head. So we've got a toilet in here. This is our composting toilet, which we love. It is, it works so well, and it's got this little hose leading out through the window that sucks any kind of stinky air out, and so we don't have to worry about that. This also, I won't get too close, that's our kitty's litter box. And so sometimes we just call this Naya's bathroom. Naya is our kitty, but yeah, it's just pretty basic. There's some extra coconut core. It's just super fine shredded coconut husk that we use in our composting toilet. And we've got some first aid down in there. And that is That's our whole boat. That's our whole home. That's everything. So if you enjoyed this boat tour and you're interested in seeing other boats, how they're designed, how they're laid out, make sure to check out the YouTube channel Learning the Lines. That's where I got the idea for this walkthrough tour. I love watching their videos and watching all of the boats that they tour, and I feel like they do a really great job explaining everything. I learned a lot about sailboats before we even bought our boat from that channel, and so make sure to check them out. And for any of you who find the appeal in alternative lifestyles like living on a boat or maybe in an RV or nomadic lifestyles, any of those kinds of things, one great way to be able to live this kind of lifestyle is owning your own business. Both Nate and I own our own businesses currently, and we put a lot of hard work into them, but it gives us the freedom of time. It gives us a lot of freedom to be able to work on our boat, and also to hopefully someday when the world opens up just a little bit more, be able to take our boat out around and really be able to put her to good use and see lots of new places around the Pacific. And this week's sponsor for our video is Skillshare. And Skillshare has so many classes and resources for people like us who want to start our own business and want to be able to live this kind of alternative lifestyle. Lately I've been taking the class Business Planning for Creatives, Writing Your Business Plan and Elevator Pitch by Faye Brown. Now Faye Brown takes you through 9 steps from start to finish to help you be able to take your really awesome fun idea and start making it work for you as an actual business. And today Skillshare is offering a great deal for the first 1,000 subscribers to click on the link that I've included in our description below and put in the code AmSamFam. You will get 1 month free membership. With the membership to Skillshare, you get unlimited access to all the classes that they have on there. And they've got thousands of classes, anything from business, accounting, graphic design, fine arts, health and well-being. They've got so much to choose from and so many great experts to learn from. It is well worth your while to try them out. And then when that month is done, to keep that subscription and keep your focus and keep working towards those goals to be able to have your own time freedom as well. But I'm going to say goodbye for now. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give us that thumbs up, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't noticed, we are at about 14,500 subscribers, and we told you that when we hit 15,000 we will do another YouTube live. And so we're looking forward to that, and I hope you guys are too. So share our videos, encourage your friends and family to subscribe, and let's get the word out so more people can see all that our beautiful islands of American Samoa have to offer. Until next time, Tofa Soifua. This is our kitty. You say hi, Naya.